Alright, so let's check the levels on this bad boy and see where we're at. And let's see the extension. Alright, plug that in, see where we're at there. Alright, still testing 1, 2, 3, 4, still testing 1, 2, 1, 2. So here we go with the static again. So I had it all worked out this morning, and all of a sudden the static is back in. So let's see if my theory is right here. So we'll take that, unplug that, leave that at 98. And that doesn't appear to have remedied the issue. All right, so now we're going to we'll kill Sumter. All right, so we're going to start the mixer back up. Oh, that's worse. That is way worse. That is way worse. All right, let's try this. Let's move this. We'll put the return on. Keep the levels where they're at. So now I'm going to figure out what is it that was different. Let's see what was different here. Let's remove that, and then we'll come back and change this level up here. So basically, go static, which is interfering. So what is interfering with this mixer? So we're going to turn this off. Let's see if that has any effect on it. Okay, so it's interfering with the signal here. All right, so let's move back to assign, take the root off, go solo on the line, and move that up to 0 levels. So 0 levels. So 0 back to 0. Let's just try messing with the fan and see what it does. All right, so Phantom 1, 2, 3, Phantom 1, 2, 3. Phantom, 5, Phantom 510, Phantom 510. I think I know what might be going on here. I think I might have an idea at least. I think what we're going to do is we're going to take that power source away. So we'll try that and see what that looks like. It's still interfering, but I don't understand why there's still so much static. Yeah, there's still a lot of interference. So off the Phantom, we'll go pre back to post. So we'll take that back, just turn stereo back down, and we'll try taking the return down. So try changing the level back to 0. Try bouncing it back to 0. Try sending that down. Let's try 0 and then go -2. No, not -2. Try +3. Try +3. Yeah, let's back to -2 and then try 0 once again. And now go back -2. Go back -2 and then try +3 again. You got to see the difference. So then we'll bring it back down and we'll take the music all the way down. So we'll take the music all the way down and then we'll take the bumper off, right? And then we'll take, and I think the audio might be okay now. I think what it was the level might have been a little too high. So we're going to leave it there. We're going to leave it set at 0. We'll leave it set at 0. It's bouncing right now, but I think, but if we go back pre-post and see how that reacts to the audio and try to see if that, so let's see, we're in pre mode now. We took off post, we're in pre. I think that was it. I think that's what did it right there. I think we're back in pre now, and I think we're going to be okay. That's what it sounds like anyway. It sounds okay now. At least in my headset, it sounds okay. We'll have to wait till we go live, and then we'll try to figure out where we're at. The other thing that's got me upset is you look at the camera, it's not zoomed out the way it was yesterday. And I think I know the reason why. I really do. I think I know the reason why. Let me see if I can't connect it. Let's do it on the iPad and then we'll try it. Yeah, we're going to try to load it. We'll connect it to B and then we'll try to see if we can adjust the setting. So we'll try to zoom that back out as much as we can. Okay, there we go. So now, all right, getting better, getting better, getting better, getting better. Move it back. No, wrong way, wrong way. All right, north, south, just a tick, just a tick. All right, and then I think right about there, I think that might be okay. I'm not sure. That might be too wide. I'm not sure. Oops, that was the wrong button. Oh, yes, comedy of errors. Technology has brought you this wonderful experience. Oh, all right. So now I think we'll leave it about right there. I think that's going to be good enough, folks. Yep, we're going to leave it. Going to go mute and then get lineups, get the cards, keep an eye on the hotspot, and move on down the road. One last check. One last check is when you put the power back on, because it's losing too much battery, it's going 5% in less than 5%. It's going 5% in less than 5 minutes. Yeah, that's too much juice in too short a period of time. We got to fix that. That's not going to last very long. So go at 91 is back on. Does it interfere with the signal? It doesn't seem like it, not in my ear anyway. It seems like it's okay. All right, there we go. Hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And on behalf of our state commander, Legree Oswald and Michael Reesnyder, welcome back to Cornmill Field and Sparrow Stadium, Francis Marion University, for the 2023 South Carolina American Legion Baseball Championships. And today it'll feature Camden versus Sumter. Before we get into the lineups, let's talk a little bit about how did we get here. We go back to yesterday where the first two games of the day featured these two teams. The first game of the day was Camden as they tried to stave off elimination, and they did that with a 10-5 victory over Inman post 45. So the defending Southeast Regional champions will get to play here today at 4 o'clock in this first game, and they will take on Sumter post 15. And Sumter had to scratch and claw and bleed, and they won yesterday 10-5. So these two teams have already met once in this postseason. Sumter won that game, yet here today, Camden is the home team in this particular game. So again, that can come into play. Of course, you're the home team. You get to bat in the bottom of the inning, so that always can come into play from time to time. So got to keep that in mind as we go through this game here today, as these two teams will try to advance to tonight. And that's basically what the format is at this moment in time. And so what will happen is the winner will advance. The loser season will unfortunately come to an end. And Camden trying to get back to the regional. In order for Camden to do that, they're going to have to win this game, turn around and beat Rock Hill tonight at 7 o'clock, and then turn around tomorrow and beat Florence twice. It's the same scenario for the P15s of Sumter. So if you stop and think about it for just a second, if the winner of this game is going to win the state championship, they got to win this game, win tonight, win tomorrow twice. That's 4 victories. And basically, if you think about it, around 18 hours. That's a lot to ask for, especially when you consider these are young men, these are teenagers. That's a lot of arms. And we saw both teams use arms yesterday. Camden went to a few more arms, actually a lot more, because of Chase Benton. Chase Benton was a man possessed yesterday. He had one bad inning. Chase Benton was a man possessed yesterday. He had one bad inning. One. And yet that's all that Sumter needed to win the game by a score of 10-5. How did Sumter get here? They're 5-2 in the playoffs. They're the League One champions, 12-5 in the regular season. Were undefeated at home until they lost on July the 15th in the playoffs when they lost 4-1 to Manning, but then turned around and beat Manning 14-6. Then they won at Camden before losing to Florence 7-1 on Wednesday. And then yesterday they defeated my mind just went blank. Good heavens alive. They beat Richland 215 by a score of 10-5. How did Camden get here? Well, they're 4-1 in the playoffs. They lost at home to Sumter on July 18th. They finished state runner-up last year, and they won the Southeast Regional. They were the League 3 champions this year, and following them was Richland, the West Columbia, Chapin Newberry, then Lexington Post 7. The thing about them that you have to keep in mind when you look at their stats, and they are a little bit gaudy, is the run differential. I know I harp on that a lot, but it does mean a lot. Matter of fact, you saw it last night between Rock Hill and Florence. Rock Hill and Florence. Rock Hill has been scoring crooked number after crooked number after crooked number throughout the playoffs. Going into last night, they had scored 50 runs. 50. And last night, Rock Hill gave up all of 3 runs, but still lost to Florence, who won the game 3-2. Florence run differential in the playoffs 21-5. So what does that mean? It means that Florence is pretty good at winning close games, but so is Rock Hill. You look at the number of close games Rock Hill had, and they had some close games this year, came on the out victorious more times than not. So Camden, they're all-stars. You've got John Rawlings, Ben Blackwell, who was the starter yesterday, Camden Watts, who's an outstanding player, and their leadoff batter is Kobe Evans. Let's go ahead and start with the starting lineups. First for the P15s from Sumter, South Carolina, about 30 minutes to the west of here. Leading off at second base, number 5, Dubose Rimbert. Batting second, center fielder, number 3, Jay Sean Bimbo. Batting third is the third baseman, number 6, Clayton Goff. Batting cleanup, the shortstop, number 4, Bryce Coulter. Batting fifth in left field, number 17, Davis Campbell. Batting sixth at first base, number 10, Hayden Lyons. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 20, Gavin Rivers. Batting eighth, designated hitter, number 9, the right fielder, number 19, Wyatt Meldrum. And on the bump, number 18, Jackson Campbell for the P15s of Sumter. And their coaching staff A lot of experience on that coaching staff, and I do mean a lot of experience on the staff for the P15s of Sumter. And I'm actually trying to get to that staff now. You've got Andrew Twitty, Billy Lyons, Jackson Hoshauer, and then their manager Neil Dubose. So a lot of experience, a lot of one. I talked to coach before the game, 25 years coaching baseball, state of South Carolina. That's a just saying that's a long time. So here's the starting lineups first. Now we've done Sumter. Now for Camden, leading off as a shortstop, number 1, Kobe Evans. Batting second in left field, number 4, Camden Watts. Batting third, designated hitter, number 24, Jack Morris. Batting cleanup, second baseman, number 3, Zane Cato. Batting fifth at third, number 6, John Rawlings. Batting sixth and center is number 11, Carson Weathers. Batting seventh to catcher, number 7, Macon Leopard. Batting eighth, first baseman, number 23, Patrick Daniels. Batting ninth in right field, number 14, Luke Duncan. And on the mound, number 8, Riley Ward. Now, those are the starting lineups for these two teams. And we saw the manager, so used to professional baseball around this part. But for Camden, their coach yesterday, Coach Carmen, he came out and made a lot of changes very, very quickly. And basically the synopsis was, we don't like the fact that you're throwing a lot of ball. If you walk people, he will come and get you. Stephen Carmen did that yesterday, assisted by Justin Dorton, Randall Vickroy, and Brady White. And now we're going to change over. Let's talk about what this matchup means and look at these two starters for these two respective teams as they are trying to stave off elimination, trying to get to the right page, which of course doesn't want to load when it's supposed to. First for the P15s of Sumter, their starting pitcher, Jackson Campbell. Here's how he looks. This will be his 10th appearance. This will be his 7th start. He has a 4-2 record, 24 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 28 hits, 21 runs, 19 earned. So again, Sumter very, very solid defensively. He's walked 19 and struck out 30. Now that's the stat, ladies and gentlemen, we need to keep an eye on. When you have a walked to strikeout ratio that close, it's not quite 1-to-1, but it's almost 1.5-to-1. That's not good. The whip is 1.92, and the opponents are batting 267. His ERA is 5.43. But again, don't really focus on the ERA. Look at the whip and look at the earned runs. Look at the walks to strikeouts. Again, 19 walks to 30 strikes. Not a good ratio. You want to make that better if you want to have a chance to win here today against a very potent offense in Camden. And you look at Camden's starting pitcher, who is Riley Ward, and Mr. Ward is out of Lugoff-Elgin High School. My buddy Tyler Cupp went to school there, home of the Demons in Lugoff-Elgin, South Carolina. Now, Riley Ward, very good athlete. When he's not pitching, he's an outfielder. Now, he's slight build. They list him at 5'11", 165 pounds, but don't let that fool you. Very strong young man, and he can bring the heat, as they say. And the two coaches are going to shake hands with a 3-man umpiring crew here before Mr. LeGree Oswald, or the head of the SCALB, will go down there and bring all the introductions to everybody. Talk about the facility. Cornell Field here at Sparrow Stadium. This is a wonderful facility. $11.1 million back in 2012 to build this beautiful facility. And it's not just baseball. You look to our left, the softball field is right there, soccer complex behind us. You could eat off this grass. It is that well manicured. I kid you not. Walk the field yesterday. If you're looking on YouTube, what you can see behind home plate, you can't see it on the screen, but trust me when I tell you, it's 58 feet from the back corner of that plate to the backstop. Now it is padded, but there is 6 inches of concrete from basically the warning track to the bottom of the padding. If the ball will carom off of that concrete, we've seen that a couple of times. We've also seen it bang against the padding and go all kinds of times. We've also seen it bang against the padding and go all kinds of places. In the game last night, we saw a wild pitch come to the backstop, hit some corner or somehow, and instead of jetting forward in some way, it literally took a sharp left turn and rolled towards the third base dugout, and it almost cost that team 180 feet, 2 bases, but luckily only cost them 90. So again, catcher's going to have to be aware. The other thing that happened yesterday, and this is not an indictment of any young man, any player at all, just an observation, but in all 3 games yesterday, with and without the sun, the left fielders did struggle at times to pick up the baseball and the spin on the baseball. There were a few times where the ball went over their head and whirled all the way to the wall. There were a couple of instances where the ball would drop in front of them. So I'm not really sure. I walked the facility after the game last night trying to get an idea of what these outfielders are looking at when they look up at the facility over to our right. And basically the only thing I can come up with is when they look through basically this beautiful club level and the soccer facility, and then you have this tree line and then the sun literally right in your eyes, and the sun is off to our right. So the left fielder is going to be staring right into that ball of fire basically this entire ball game. Now the uniform report for the P-15s of Sumter, more of their traditional look, if you will. The royal blue jerseys, the bright cherry red, I call it, letters across the chest says Sumter in script underlined. They also have red numbers outlined in white. For Camden, post 17, going with the gold look. It's that not quite Georgia Tech gold. It's certainly not the canary gold. It's more of a Georgia Tech gold, white pants, green stripe, white hat with the green bill. And I wish more teams would do this. It's the outline of the state of South Carolina with green and a C in the middle of it for Camden post 17, as it's P-15s versus P-17s. There is Mr. Legree Oswald. He has the microphone on hand. He is going to hand it over. They're going to do the introductions. They're going to do the prayer, a code of sportsmanship, and the national anthem, and then it'll be time for baseball. In my humble opinion, the greatest sport on planet Earth, right here in Florence, South Carolina. Now, state champion will be crowned tomorrow, knock on wood. Earlier this week, the weather did not look very good at all. 40 to 50% chance of rain Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That did not materialize. So Mother Nature is going to give us a bit of a pass. So we thank her tremendously for that. But we are not out of the woods. One thing that is different today that these players are going to be extremely thankful for, and that is the fact that it is about 5 degrees cooler. Now, that doesn't mean that it's nice and comfortable. I don't want to paint that picture at all because it's hot enough to make the devil sigh on the field, but it was worse yesterday. Give you a case in point, in the primetime game last night, I got a chance to run into Florence head coach Derek Urquhart. He was just talking to some folks as I walked by, and you could just see the pooling of sweat still pouring off of his forehead, even though the game was already about an hour old and or had been over for an hour, I should say. So that was how warm it was. A little bit nicer today, but it is around 86 degrees. There's going to be a high today of about 88 here in the fine city of Florence, South Carolina. The field's in perfect condition. Some clouds off in the distance, but beautiful Carolina skies and ready for baseball. Game 1 of day number 2 of the state tournament here. But remember, this is just in this stadium. The state tournament technically started back on Tuesday for a lot of these teams, thus the double elimination that when they got here to Sparrow Stadium. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Legree Oswald. Don't have a crowd mic, but you can watch online. He's going to do the introductions, code, the prayer, the national anthem, and then we'll get ready for baseball. You're watching and listening to the 2023 South Carolina American Legion Senior Baseball Championships from Sparrow Stadium in Florence, South Carolina, here on the We Are Fort Mill Broadcasting Network. So welcome back, everybody, to Sparrow Stadium, Francis Marion University, home of the Patriots, and actually a well-decorated baseball program, kind of overlooked. I would argue that a lot of programs get overlooked in the state of South Carolina. Everybody's and their second cousin knows about Clemson, South Carolina. They know about Coastal Carolina, but sometimes you forget about things like the College of Charleston. You forget about things like Florence Darlington Tech and Francis Marion, for that matter. And I was actually talking to my friend's parents this morning over the breakfast table, and they were waxing poetic about the academic side of Francis Marion University, and it's actually pretty good. There are some really high numbers, rankings, and it's a very proud program here in Florence, South Carolina. And we're about ready for baseball. We've had the introductions, the code of sportsmanship, and the national anthem. And now for the greatest words in all of sports, in my opinion, play ball, and play ball indeed. It is Camden versus Sumter, the P17s against the P15s, not that far apart in the state of South Carolina. Camden, of course, near the Midlands. Sumter, a little bit further east, kind of in that PD region of South Carolina. But one thing that they both share in common, both towns are extremely proud towns, and they live and breathe around prep sports, high school athletics, which is this level of baseball. They are here in mass. You can't really see a whole lot of people in the seated areas that are in the sun. Obviously, spaces in the shade still at a premium, even though the temperatures are roughly 5 degrees cooler today. There are some partly cloudy skies off in the distance. The wind is blowing around 7 to 8 miles an hour. And with the American flag in right field, it is blowing straight out. Now, this field is massive. 330 down the lines, 375 to the power alleys, 400 to dead center. Now, normally you would think, okay, this level of baseball, that's a very big yard, plus the 8-foot fence, by the way. But yesterday, Patrick Daniels of Camden said, not a problem, and sent a grand slam home run over the left field wall that ended up being the difference in the game. At the time, it made the score 9-2, and the final ended up being 10-5. So Patrick Daniels out of the 8 hole, and talked to the broadcasters from Sumter. They're over to my left. Very, very nice gentlemen indeed. And they were saying that Patrick had been on the struggle bus a little bit, but had been coming out of it lately. And he, boy, howdy did he yesterday, as Camden will take the field first and play defense. And here's how they will line up. On the mound for the P-17s, it'll be number 8, Riley Ward. He'll be throwing to the catcher, Macon Leopard. Your infield from third to first is John Rawlings, Kobe Evans, Zane Cato, and Patrick Daniels. Your outfield from left to right, Camden Watts, Carson Weathers, and Luke Duncan. Coach Twitty's in the third base coach's box for Sumter. Walking to the plate is Dubose Rimbert, and we are ready for baseball here in day 2 at Sparrow Stadium, a beautiful Cornell Field. Florence, South Carolina. Yesterday, Camden won, Sumter won, and Florence won. The winner of this game will take on Rock Hill at 7 o'clock tonight. So Rambert will step in. First pitch is a fastball low and outside. We're underway. 4:04 p.m., 90 degrees. It feels like it's 95, 47% humidity. The wind has jumped up a little bit to 9 miles an hour, still blowing straight out to right field. The 1-0. That's a breaking ball in the front door. The umpire calls it a strike. And there was some scuttlebutt yesterday about the strike zone. In my opinion, though, I thought all 3 umpires yesterday had a true yesterday about the strike zone. In my opinion, though, I thought all 3 umpires yesterday had a true strike zone. And I felt like, by and large, it was pretty good. The pitch. Check the swing. 2 balls and a strike. I think the issue was, and I stated this yesterday, is I think that a lot of times folks get used to getting about half the width of the baseball or thereabouts off the corners, and that wasn't getting called last night. Plus, the up and down was a little bit tighter as well. The pitch swung on and popped up a mile high down the right field line, coming over but running out of real estate for Camden is their right fielder, Luke Duncan. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the leadoff man here in the top of the first. Sumter wearing the more traditional royal blue jerseys with the red letters and numbers. Yesterday they had the American flag jerseys, and I could not read them even with binoculars. They're beautiful jerseys, but there was no bright outline around the numbers, so my 48-year-old eyes couldn't see it. That fastball just off the outside corner, and I do mean just. And that'll load it up at 3 balls and 2 strikes to Dubose Rimbert. Easy for me to say. Ward pitching exclusively out of the stretch. Swung on and a line drive out in the right field, but Luke Duncan is right where he needs to be. And there's an atom ball off the bat of Rimbert, but it's out number 1. And that'll bring up the very impressive Jayshawn Bimbo. Didn't know a lot about Jayshawn before yesterday, but boy, howdy do I know a lot about him now. Tall, stocky young man, strong as an ox. And boy, he showed off yesterday, both offensively and defensively. He walked twice, singled, an RBI, scored a run. Pitch from Ward. Fastball, outside corner, called a strike, much to Jayshawn's dismay. Clayton Goff stands on deck on another gorgeous day. here in late July in the PD region of South Carolina. That fastball high and outside the zone. A ball and a strike to Jay-Sean Bimbo. Just underway. Nobody on, one out. Old foes Camden versus Sumter. Bimbo just underway. Nobody on, one out. Old foes Camden versus Sumter. Riley Ward taking his time here. Brings the 1-1, swung on and missed. Oh, just a little Linda Ronstadt, a little Blue Bayou for strike two. So now Jay-Sean's got to choke up a little bit, spread out in the box. That back foot standing right on top of the paint. And you'll hear fans sometimes say, oh, he's out of the box. Nope. Pitch, fastball just off the outside corner. It's 2-2. An umpire told me just recently the foot has to be completely out of the batter's box. That's what he was saying to me, was that's when you're outside the box, for whatever that is worth. The 2-2, breaking ball, front door, got him, call strike three. What a pitch. What a pitch from Riley Ward, and it fooled Bimbo, and he is out number 2. That'll bring up Clayton Goff, the third baseman for Sumter. Clayton, a very good hitter, 392 average, slugging 559, OPS of 886 for the left-hander. The pitch swung on and popped out of play foul left side. Clayton with 21 RBIs on the season. $29 base hits, 13 runs scored for Clayton Goff, who finds himself in an 0-1 hole. And the pitch from Ward, here it comes, pulled the string on him and had him out in front. And it's 0-2 as you see the umbrella start to pop up around beautiful Sparrow Stadium. Folks trying to keep the sun off of them. You see some Clemson umbrellas, South Carolina Gamecocks. Sumter fans brought the royal blue ones. The 0-2, fastball high and outside. And you want that pitch, an 0-2 pitch. You want it outside the zone, but nobody on, 2 outs, top of the first. Pitch from Riley Ward, that breaking ball overcooked and in the front door. Making Leppert squeeze the old 5-hole. This cloud's moving across in front of the sun, kind of takes the shine off the field for just a moment. We're going to see that from time to time the rest of the afternoon. Now time is called, and I believe it was called by the catcher. I think Leppert called timeout. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Clayton Goff. Pitch from Riley Ward, swung on and a worm burner to the shortstop. He's got it. He'll throw across in time. And ABC 1-2-3 goes Sumter P15s in the top of the first. We head to the bottom half. Sumter nothing. And Camden Post 17 coming up. Welcome back, everybody, to Sparrow Stadium, Cornell Field, Francis Marion University, Florence, South Carolina. Sumter P-15s have taken the field. Here's how Sumter lines up defensively. On the bump will be number 18, Jackson Campbell. We'll tell you his stats in a moment. The catcher's Gavin Rivers. Third baseman Clayton Goff. The shortstop is Bryce Coulter. The second baseman, Dubose Rimbert. First baseman is Hayden Lyons. Your outfield from left to right for the P-15s is Davis Campbell, Jay-Sean Bimbo, and Wyatt Meldrum. And Wyatt robbed a batter yesterday of a base hit, showed off his athleticism. We all know about Dubose, and we all know about Jay-Sean. Very good team in Sumter. Jackson Campbell, this will be his 7th start, his 10th appearance, a 4-2 record, 24 2/3 innings pitched, 28 hits, 21 runs, 19 sharp eye on, 19 walks to 30 strikeouts. Got to keep that in mind. He's going to have to be sharp. Sumter needs him to go deep into this game. Chase Benton did the job yesterday, as did Ben Blackwell for Camden. The pitch swung on and roped. Deep left field, the left fielder going back, but he's got a beat on it and coming in and making the catch just a little bit is Davis Campbell. He went back really hard and then stopped and came in a few feet. One pitch and one out. And man, did we see that a lot yesterday. In all 3 games, guys just ambushing the first pitch. And the thing about it is 75% of them ended up in an out. And the next batter is Camden Watts, and he looks at a breaking ball off the outside corner. Jackson Campbell, a crafty left-hander. Faded a little bit to the left side of the pitching rubber, and the 1-0 is on the outside corner at the knees, called a strike. Again, very experienced umpiring crew. Yesterday's 3 games, the umpiring crew is dang near an all-star set of guys. The 1-1 swung on and missed. And really, I can't really remember off the top of my head any controversial calls. The only thing that the fans were pretty adamant about was the strike zone, and that pitch just off the outside corner is 2-2. But rarely have you ever been to a game where one fan base or both haven't said something about the strike zone. So it's just is what it is. To me, that's just part of the game. The 2-2 is swung on and grounded foul right into the front of the Sumter dugout, first base side. The bullpen third base side, we can see it clearly, can tell you all the action. The one down the first base line, not so much. There's a group of hedges right in front of it that obstructs our view. Pitch swung on and popped up a mile high into center field. Bimbo comes in, still coming in, looks up into the Florence sky and squeezes it for out number. Swung on and popped up a mile high into center field. Bimbo comes in, still coming in, looks up into the Florence sky and squeezes it for out number 2. And the next batter for Camden will be designated hitter Jake Morris. Jake Morris, Lugoff Elgin, but he's a rising junior for the Demons, class of 25. Pitch all the way to the backstop on the fly. Now, for a young man who's 15, maybe 16 years old, he's listed at 6'5", 200 pounds. And he's a rising junior. There is the slider, and it catches the corner for strike 1. 1-1 the count on Jake Morris. Nobody on. 2 outs, no score, bottom of the first. Winner advances. The loser, unfortunately, has to go home. The pitch swung on and missed. Big, long swing, as you see most of the time from left-handed batters. Slightly open stance for Mr. Morris. Bit of a crouch, middle of the box, though. The 1-2, just off the outside corner. Jackson Campbell so far throwing strikes, and the man, the myth, the legend, Michael Reefsnyder has entered the facility. So all of us misbehaving folks got to keep it between the lines. A 2-2, foul back to the screen. It'll stay 2 balls and 2 strikes. Do want to say a special thank you to Mr. Oswald and Mr. Reefsnyder for this opportunity. Very thankful, very humbled, very glad to be here. Thank y'all for making us a part of your Saturday afternoon. That pitch swung on and missed. It's going to be dropped. Catcher's got to throw him out, and he will. And 1-2-3 goes Camden. And after one complete, Sumter nothing, Camden nothing. We'll be back with the 2023 South Carolina American Legion Senior Baseball Championships from Florence after this timeout here on the We Are Fort Broadcasting Network. Headed to the top of the second inning. No score between old rivals Sumter and Camden, post 15 and post 17. Camden is the home team for this particular game. Don't ask me why. I do not know. But they are, and that is that. And leading it off here for Sumter, it'll be Bryce Coulter, Davis Campbell, Hayden Lyons. 4, 5, and 6 in the order. Thank you all for making us a part of your Saturday afternoon. Hope everybody's doing well wherever you may be across the fruited plains. So here's Coulter. Bryce had a productive day yesterday. Had a single, a walk, 2 runs scored. And he looks at the first pitch outside the zone for ball 1. Yesterday against Richland post 215, Bryce struck out looking, lined out, singled, stole a base, walked, scored twice with an RBI. The pitch, high and inside with a fastball, 2-0 to Mr. Coulter. Riley Ward with an RBI. The pitch, high and inside with a fastball, 2-0 to Mr. Coulter. Riley Ward still on the bump for the P-17s from Camden. And like a lot more pitchers today, Mr. Ward is pitching exclusively out of the stretch. Now, that used to be something you only saw here and there, but not very often. But nowadays, you see it becoming more and more prevalent. And now the home plate umpire is having a conversation with Bryce about what? I'm not 100% sure. I think you might have asked him to back off just a little bit. 2 balls and no strikes. The pitch swung on at Tapper. First base side. It's going to stay fair. Picked up by Ward, and he will tag out Coulter, and then he'll just spin around and throw it to first. So instead of a 1 and assisted, it'll go as a 1-3. I'm not 100% sure where Mr. Coulter was going, but 1 up and 1 out for Sumter. Here's Davis Campbell. The man, the myth, the legend, Michael Reefsnyder is back in the drive-thru window. Would you like fries with that, sir? Doing a great job. Legend, Michael Reefsnyder is back in the drive-thru window. Would you like fries with that, sir? Doing a great job, sir. Oh. You resigned? Oh, did you? Did you get a severance package? He's got his Gamecock gear on. He's a proud University of South Carolina graduate. Mr. Michael Reesner does a lot of hard work all summer long. 0-1, the count to Davis Campbell. The pitch to him, breaking ball. High, caught the plate, but up around the eyeballs, and it's 1-1. And if you're Riley Ward, you don't want to stay up there. Now, we saw that yesterday in the early goings in all three games. The only thing I can conjure up is that all three pitchers in that scenario were jacked up. The pitch swung on and missed. And speaking of jacked up, there's a little bayou for strike two. A couple pitchers got in trouble early on, and it cost them a run here and there, but then settled in quite nicely. We're in the top of the second. No score, nobody on, one out. Pitch from Riley Ward. Fastball outside corner, call strike three. And Davis Campbell just looks at the home plate umpire in dismay. But that's the second strikeout for Riley Ward. And that'll bring up Hayden Lyons, the first baseman. Appreciate y'all tuning in this afternoon. This is game one today. There's only one game after this one. It'll start at approximately 7 o'clock. It'll be the winner of this game. They'll take on Rock Hill Post 34. Pitch from Riley Ward. Breaking ball right down Tom Hall Street, but I'm going to guess low. So 1-0 is the count to Hayden Lyons. Riley brings the fastball. That one at the bottom of the zone, right on the corner. Painted it black. 1-1 to count. Sumter trying to stir up a little two-out magic. Camden trying to get the P-15s to go in order for the second consecutive inning. The pitch from Riley Ward is swung on and roped into right field for a base hit. Nicely done by Hayden Lyons. A pitch on the outer half. Looked like a fastball that was up. And he just served it in the right field. And take note, young people, he did not swing violently or hard at all. He just threw hands through the zone, let the baseball do the work, and he'll reach first base. And that'll bring up the catcher, Gavin Rivers. And don't let Mr. Lyons' stature fool you. He will steal bases on you. Trying to find his stolen base numbers for Mr. Lyons. There they are. 10 stolen bases on the year, only been caught twice. Fastball to Gavin Rivers is outside the zone for ball one. Gavin Rivers yesterday was hit by a pitch, singled, and walked. And a very average lead at first base for Mr. Lyons. That breaking ball stays high. 2 balls and no strikes. If Gavin can keep the line moving, Carson Todd has a war club and he lurks on deck. Pitch from Ward. Here it comes. Fastball outside corner right at the bottom of the zone. Two balls and a strike. To the catcher for Sumter, Gavin Rivers. Ward becoming a little more methodical with a runner on. The pitch way outside, almost like a pitch out. 3 balls and 1 strike. And I think that Camden thought that Hayden Lyons was going to take off and try to steal his 11th base of the season, but nope. Gavin Rivers, .345 batting average on the season, and OPS, .920. And the pitch, right at the bottom of the zone, called a strike. And Mr. Rivers was about 6 steps towards first base, and he'll get called back. And I think the coach for Sumter is about to lose his religion over there in the third base coach's box. But it'll be 3 balls and 2 strikes, and a big payoff pitch due here from Riley Ward to Gavin Rivers. Riley Ward gets a sign he likes. Payoff pitch, fastball high and inside, ball 4. So after getting the first two, a base hit and a walk, it's first and second for the aforementioned Carson Todd. Carson yesterday, another productive day. Walked a couple times, singled, scored a run. And that'll bring a visit to the mound by the catcher and the shortstop. Going to go out there and talk to Riley Ward. If I'm the catcher, I just go out there and say, hey, man, listen, throw strikes. Don't give it to them. Let them put it in play. You got 2 outs. Just get a ground ball. Get out of this bad boy. If you're Sumter, you're 1 base hit away from taking the lead.
So 2 on, 2 outs, no score, but threatening here with a bit of a 2-out rally in the second. Here's Carson Todd, our DH. He's very adept at going.
Riley Ward comes plateward. That pitch, fastball high and outside, and Ward is really becoming methodical now, which is totally different than almost every pitcher we saw yesterday. In fact, Chase Benton of Sumter yesterday had to be told to slow down a couple. Every pitcher we saw yesterday. In fact, Chase Benton of Sumter yesterday had to be told to slow down a couple of times. He'd get the ball back from the catcher, and he had to sign when he was ready to go. The 1-0 from Riley Ward, fastball, outside corner at the knees. Carson Todd can't believe the call. It's 1-1. So it looks like the home plate umpire is going to give it right at the bottom of the knees. Make a note of that. I'm sure both coaches have. Comes the pitch from Mr. Ward. Swung on and a tapper. Third baseman's got to charge it. He gloves it. Throw to first. Bang, bang, play. Got him. What a play. What a play by the third baseman for Camden. John Rawlings put a star by that one, as they say, and that will retire the side. No runs a hit, no errors, 2 left on base. We head to the bottom of the second inning. No score. Back in a moment on the We Are Fort Mill Broadcasting Network. Headed to the bottom of the second inning. You crazy kids. Thank y'all for making us a part of your Saturday afternoon. Hope everybody is shade, hopefully by a pool somewhere. That would be optimal. Color me jealous. But hey, no problem at all. Where I was, feel like I'm right where I was born to be, in a press box somewhere, calling the wonderful game of baseball. This is not work to me. This is a whole bunch of fun. And my good friend's parents were asking, they were like, man, you make a lot of notes and have to do a lot of stuff. And I'm like, yep. And I love every minute of it. The pitch, fastball high and outside, 1-0 the count. Got out of Clemson with a degree in accounting, minored in economics, which is why I'm terrible at math, by the way. The 1-0 swung on and missed. I was a banker for a time, then a tech support analyst, IT. And then as a favor to a friend of mine, Travis, broadcast a game, and the rest, they say, is history. That pitch right down Tom Hall Street at the bottom of the zone for strike 2. I am the voice of Fort Mill Post 43 seniors. Tom Hall Street is basically our, air quotes, Main Street in the Milltown in South Carolina, just below Charlotte, north of Rock Hill. The pitch Bounces up there. Boy, that took a vicious shot off of Gavin Rivers. Kissed off the dirt and just banged him right on his right shoulder. Now, you know Gavin felt that one, but he kind of just shook it off. But you know it hurt. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Zane Cato, leadoff man here in the bottom of the second for Camden. Campbell brings it, swung on and hit back up the box into center field for a base hit. Cato continues to just be a maniac with the War Club in his hand. Just unbelievable what this young man can do with the stick in his hand. Had 2 base hits yesterday. He had a single, a triple yesterday, 2 walks. He scored twice and had an RBI. And he's on base now. And that'll bring up the third baseman, John Rawlings. And there's a throw over to first base to see if Mr. Cato was going to go anywhere. I don't think he was. Of course, I don't know. But I'm not sure you would go on first movement against a left-hander like that. The pitch going to square around to bunt, bunts at third base side. Got to be a tough play. Off bounce throw to first. Got him. What a play. Both third basemen now have flashed the leather. Put a star by that one for Clayton Goff. It'll go as a sac bunt. 5-3 on the putout. Runner moves to second, 1 down for Carson Weathers. So now Camden with a chance to draw first blood. Sumter had a runner in scoring position in the top half of this inning. And now Camden has Zane Cato out at second base. Trying to find what Mr. Rawlings did yesterday. There it is. Laid down a sac bunt yesterday, too. That pitch just swung on and popped up a mile high right side. Off the bat of Carson Weathers. Carson Weathers had a rough day yesterday. He was robbed of a base hit in the first. He walked, hit by a pitch in yesterday's game against Inman Post 45, which was a 10-5 victory for Camden. And the pitch from Campbell, that one misses a little bit low, a ball and a strike.
Now the screen goes to both dugouts to protect the screen, and there's no screen behind that. I'm a little surprised because there's some seats beyond the dugout.
1 ball and 1 strike. Zane Cato taking liberties out at second base, being shadowed by the second baseman for Sumter, who now retreats. That pitch is swung on and popped up right side, but it will reach the seats, and it's 1-2. Now, those seats don't have rear ends in them yet because the sun is beaming on those seats. But the paying customers, as it were, they are aplenty in the ballpark, but they're in the shade. The club level is jacked up with all kinds of folks. Good to see them out at the old ballpark. And the 1-2 to Weathers. Here it comes from Campbell, way outside. Nice job by the catcher to keep that from going to the backstop. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And I look to my left, and the esteemed athletic director of Rock Hill, Buck's in the house. How you doing, buddy? The man, the myth, the legend. The myth? He's a mess right here, man. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here it comes. And swung on and popped back our way. I expected Mr. Reschneider to make that catch, but he was not in the right position. Come on up, my friend. Sure. Another 2-2 here to Carson Weathers. Here it comes. This one is swung on and drilled into right field. The right fielder misplays it, goes over his head. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. Coming around third to score is Cato. Hitting the bag at second and staying put with a double is Carson Weathers, and Camden draws first blood 1-0. That ball was just a scalded dog, and the right fielder didn't see it very well off the bat. And Camden scores a run, give an RBI to Weathers. He basically trades places with Zane Cato. Still only 1 out for Macon Leppert. And you see the speed of Zane Cato. He did not even hesitate. And I mean just trucking around the third base bag. And the pitch. That breaking ball is called a strike. And the pitch. That breaking ball is called a strike. Sumter had a chance to take the lead in the top half, but Camden has done so here in the bottom half of inning number 2. Pitch from Campbell. Here it comes. Fastball stays high. 2 balls and a strike to the left-handed Macon Leopard. And again, didn't know a whole lot about him, had not seen a lot of film on him, but I came away yesterday very impressed with him, not only offensively, but as a receiver. And the pitch, runner takes off for third. The pitch is a ball, throw down, not in time. And you don't see a lot of guys still third, but that's exactly what Carson Weathers did just then. First stolen base of the day for Camden. Now the runner at third, and still only 1 out. Now a fly ball would make it 2-0, and here comes Sumter to play 0. All 4 infielders on the lip of the grass. What do you come here if you're Mr. Campbell on a 2-1 count? Here it comes. Swung on and missed. A fastball at the shoulders. And Macon Leopard could not help himself. 2-2. Count to Macon Leopard. Pitch from Campbell. Here it comes. There it goes. Swung on and ripped back up the box into center field. Base hit. Run scores. It's 2-0 Camden. And the young men wearing the gold jerseys are starting to turn the screw on the P15s. As the line continues to move, give an RBI to Macon Leopard. Carson Weathers scores. And now here comes Patrick Daniels. And yesterday, his grand slam home run that cleared the left field fence, left of the scoreboard, ended up being the difference in the game. There's a throw to first. Very average lead for Macon Leopard. Is a catcher, but can run. We saw 3 catchers yesterday that could run. The catcher for Florence, and then Johan Rodriguez of Inman. That pitch bounces in front of the catcher. The old 59.5 footer is going to go all the way to the backstop, all 58 feet of it. And that will go as a wild pitch. And now another runner in scoring position for Camden. And still only 1 out. So you have 58 feet of foul territory. I literally asked for permission from the groundskeeper if I could measure it with my phone, and his answer was simple. Just don't step on my dirt. I ain't ever stepping on the dirt. Once it's been manicured, you'll never see me step on it. The 1-0 swung on and ripped foul right side. It's 1-1. Measured it with my phone. You have 58 feet from the line back to the backstop, down the left field and right field lines, and it's 13 feet of warning track in addition to that. Pitch from Campbell, inside corner, called a strike. Much to the chagrin of Mr. Patrick Daniels. 1-2 the count. Now, if you're Campbell, do you go soft and away, or do you try to bang Patrick back inside? We shall see. The 1-2. Swung on and a chopper to the third baseman. He'll take it on a hop. He'll look the runner back to second, throw to first in time. Nicely done. Another nice play from Clayton Goff. So 2 down for the 9-hole hitter, right fielder Luke Duncan. Luke Duncan is an outfielder when he's not pitching. Blythewood High School, just graduated. 6 feet tall, 190 pounds. Runner at second, 2 down. Pitch from Campbell. Swung on and popped up a mile high right side. I don't think it will stay in play, and it will not. So going back to the foul territory, you get about 100 feet down the wall, and then all of a sudden the fence starts to come in at about a 45-degree angle, and it's only a 3-foot fence. So these players can get to the wall, reach over it, and make a catch. And then foul territory squeezes into only 12 feet for the last 30 feet till it gets to the wall. So it gets real narrow real fast. The pitch, front door breaking ball, misses. But this is a spacious ballpark. It looks like the outfielders are playing shallow. They're actually playing normal depth in most ballparks, but it's 400 to dead center. By comparison, it's 360 where Mr. Buck calls home, Rock Hill High School. The 1-1, back foot breaking ball misses, 2 balls and a strike. And now that's going to bring a visit to the mound by the pitching coach for Sumter.
I had a John Turner who played for me in 1980.
From Louisville. Little hop, skip, and a jump down there. No. I'm from the upstate. I'm from Greenville County. I've only been a Fort Million, if you will, or a Fort Millbilly, as they call us, since about 1999. So the timeout is over. The pitching coach has had his say. Right beside Pickens County, but I grew up on the east side of Greenville County, but very familiar with Pickens. Got that. Home of the Blue Flame. 2 balls and a strike to Luke Duncan. Back to action here. After the meeting on the mound is over, the pitch from Campbell. Front door, called a strike with the fastball. And that'll make it 2-2. Deuces are wild. A runner at second, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Say hello to a buddy of mine, George Rigby, the outstanding public address announcer for Florence Post 1, who was kind enough to do the gig for us last night and give Mr. Reschneider a well-deserved break. Well done, George. Pitch from Campbell, breaking ball, swung on and fouled off. Right at home plate, it'll trickle over towards the on-deck circle. And that reminds me of what happened yesterday to a Sumter youngster. There was a foul ball. It was a line drive, and it hit him right on the crown of his helmet. And he very comically, he was just fine. He picked up the on-deck circle and drug it about 5 feet back towards the dugout. Everybody was concerned about him, and he was just having fun. Another 2-2. Swung on and missed. Got him, and that will retire the side. But 2 runs on 3 base hits, no errors, and a man left after 2 complete. Camden 2, Sumter nothing. Back in a moment on the We Are Fort Broadcasting Network. Headed to the top of the 3rd inning here at the home of the Patriots. Francis Marion University, Cornell Field and Sparrows. Francis Marion University, Cornell Field and Sparrow Stadium. Florence, South Carolina, the 2023 South Carolina American Legion Senior Baseball Championships. Now, the Junior Championships will get started in a few days, just up the road a piece in the fine city of Conway, South Carolina. A lot of folks are like, where in the heck is Conway? Well, it's the town you drive through to get to someplace called Myrtle Beach. But Conway is the proud home of the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. That baseball program, quite the juggernaut under longtime head coach Gary Gilmore, who was not in very good health there for a while, but has really battled back, and good for him. He's a good guy. Sumter with work to do. They trailed Camden 2-0 as we go to the top of the third. Your line score after 2 complete. No runs for Sumter on a hit, no errors. 2-3-0 for Camden. Riley Ward back out on the bump for post 17. Through 2 innings, Mr. Ward has given up just the 1 hit, walked 1, struck out 2, 35 pitches, 19 strikes. Given up just the 1 hit, walked 1, struck out 2, 35 pitches, 19 strikes. And there'll be the throw down. 9-1-2 for the P15s. It'll be Wyatt Meldrum, Dubose Rembert, and Jay-Sean Benbow. And I just found out earlier today, that the public address announcer for Sumter, the P15s, Mr. Macon. Oh, I forgot Macon's last name. Oh, love that guy, but I just found out he moved. I was disappointed by that. I loved having chats with him about Formula One racing. Love that guy. The pitch, fastball, just off the outside corner for ball 1 to Wyatt Meldrum, who made some spectacular plays yesterday for Sumter. No action in either bullpen here in the top of the third. The pitch is swung on and sprayed foul. Heads up over to our right, bangs off the roof of the press box. 1-1 the count. Partly cloudy skies, 90 degrees. It feels like it's 95, but believe it or not, it's actually cooler today than it was yesterday. The 1-1 swung on and foul back to the screen. Now, for those who don't know, Buck is a legend, longtime athletic director, former coach, Rock Hill, the 2022 South Carolina American Legion state champions, post 34. Had to tangle with these Camden boys last summer, didn't you? Had to tangle with these Camden boys last summer, didn't you? 5 times. You probably asked Coach McCoy, that's probably 4 times too many. It's just a really tough program. But Rock Hill showed just how much of a heavyweight they are this year again with last night's game against Florence. Now, Florence won 3-2, but Rock Hill really went just toe-to-toe with Derek Urquhart's group. Breaking ball. Call strike 3. Got him. Looked a little bit inside, but, hey, the umpire said close enough. That is strikeout number 3 for Riley Ward. All 3. That is strikeout number 3 for Riley Ward. All 3 looking, by the way. Back to the top of the order, and Dubose Rembert, who lined out to right field. His first time up, so he's in the book. 0 for 1 today. Michael Reeve Snyder running all over the joint like his hair's on fire. It might be. It's that hot. The pitch, breaking ball, right down Tom Hall Street at the knees, called a strike. Rembert, a very flashy player, but I mean that as a compliment. He is really stinking good. The 0-1 down the heart of the plate, but missed low. This at 5'10", 170 pounds, but kind of that Swiss Army knife that every team seems to have. He can play outfield, he can play infield. He can pitch. He'll probably wash your car if you ask him to and make you a meal. That pitch outside the zone, 2 balls and a strike. He's just a do-all for these coaches, longtime coaches, for the P15s of Sumter. 2 balls and a strike. Nobody on, 1 out. Scores 2-0 Camden. Pitch from Riley Ward. Fouled off. Big hack there by Dubose Rembert. And they'll take that ball and throw it over to the on-deck circle where Jay-Sean Benbow stands. A very imposing figure down to our right. He is a stocky young man. The 2-2, Warren Burner to the second baseman. He'll glove it, pat the glove twice, throw to first in time. 2 up and 2 down for the aforementioned Jay-Sean Benbow. Jay struck out looking back in the first, so he too is 0 for 1. Just the one base hit for Sumter so far. That was Hayden Lyons last inning. Sumter had it first and second, not able to score. But a lot of baseball left. And as we saw yesterday, it won't take long for Sumter to get the engine roaring. And when they do, it's dangerous. That breaking ball came high and inside, and Jay didn't even move. He was like, hey, if it hits me, so what? Jay with an open stance, but watch as the pitch gets delivered. It's more of a traditional stance, and he sends that one straight up the chute. Who wants it? The shortstop for Camden says he's got it as Jay flips the bat in frustration, and squeezing it for out number 3 is Kobe Evans. Sumter goes in order their half of the third. We head to the bottom half. Score remains Camden 2 and Sumter nothing. You're watching and listening to the 2023 South Carolina American Legion Senior Baseball Championships from Sparrow Stadium in Florence, South Carolina on the We Are Fort Mill Broadcasting Network. Back in a moment. Welcome back, everybody, to Sparrow Stadium, home of the Patriots, Francis Marion University. Headed to the bottom of the third inning, Camden leads 2-0 over Sumter. Back out on the bump for the P15s, Jackson Campbell, the starter, the left-hander. And the leadoff man here will be Kobe Evans. First pitch breaking ball is a back foot breaking ball that misses. It'll be at the top of the order. Kobe Evans, Camden Watts, Jake Morris, 1, 2, and 3. In the order for post 17. The pitch, fastball high and outside, 2-0 the count. Now, being a broadcaster at Fort Mill and for Fort Mill High School, I do love the royal blue, but I got to tell you the truth. I'm digging the gold jerseys from Camden as well. The pitch, fastball high, and quickly 3-0 to Kobe Evans, and kind of player you don't want to put on with nobody out because he will steal left, right, and center. Another demon from Lugoff Elgin. That pitch on the inside corner above the knees for a strike. Temperature continues to climb, but it's still more comfortable today than yesterday. It was down on the field, and it wasn't nearly as hot. A little bit more breeze. The 3-1 swung on and ripped deep left field, but the left fielder says he's got it. His blue sunglasses gleaming in the afternoon sky. That's Davis Campbell, and he'll squeeze it for out number 1. They'll take us to left fielder Camden Watts. And now the home plate umpire is having a discussion with the Camden dugout, and he's taking his mask off, and it's a civil conversation at the moment. But I think civility could go to the wayside unless order is restored in some way, shape, matter, or form. And now the head coach for Camden is talking to his own dugout. And now the umpire will put the cage back on, step back behind the plate. We saw that a couple of times yesterday where the home plate umpire had to address a dugout. Pitch to Camden Watts, breaking ball off the outside corner. Borderline call goes the way of Camden. We've seen that pitch be called a strike and not a strike. Campbell working quickly. Fastball high and inside. 2-0 the count. What I find interesting about that is starter Riley Ward has struck out 3 Sumter players. Looking, that pitch is swung on and roped into deep right field. The right fielder on his horse. He's not going to get there. He's going to bag it first. Rolling is Camden Watts. He's going to dig for 3. He hits the bag at second. Relay throw, not in time as he belly flops in with a triple. And Camden Watts shows the speed right there. 4th base hit of the day already for Camden, and it's a 1-out triple. Camden Watts never even slowed down. I mean, he didn't even take his foot off the accelerator. So now he stands at 3rd base, only 1 out for the 3-hole hitter, just swinging. Where I was going with that comment is that Riley Ward of Camden has struck out 3 Sumter players looking on close calls, but yet it's the Camden dugout who is having the exchange with the home plate umpire. Pretty interesting there. Now Sumter going to go onto the lip of the grass once again. Pitch from Campbell. Pitch on the outside corner at the knees. Good pitch from Campbell. Left-handed Jake Morris out of Lugolf, Elgin. That pitch is swung on and fouled back. He was way out in front. As we talked about, Jake Morris, 6'5", but he's a rising junior at LE. The 0-2 swung on and roped into deep left center field. This should score the run. Bimbo's got a beat on it. He'll make the catch. Here comes the throw, and it won't be in time. Scoring is Camden Watts. Give a sacrifice fly and an RBI to Jake Morris. A run scored to Camden Watts, and it's 3-0. So now the bases are empty. 2 down for Zane Cato. Cato hit a ringing single to lead off the 2nd inning. Didn't do too much with it, just got the barrel of the bat through the zone. He came around to score the first run of the game for Camden. Pitch, fastball high and outside. And Campbell is starting to fall behind these Camden batters a little bit more frequently, and that's messing with fire. Campbell brings the 2-0. Inside corner, called a strike at the knees. Inside corner, called a strike at the knees. 2 balls and a strike to Zane. Campbell working quickly. Breaking ball, back foot breaking ball at the knees on the inside corner, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Campbell kicks and fires. That pitch is swung on and a slow roller. Deep in the hole, it's short. Off balance to the first. A one-hopper to the first baseman. What a play. Another fantastic play by the left side of the Sumter infield. That one by Bryce Coulter. That'll take care of Zane Cato, and it will retire the side. But a run on a hit. No errors. None left on. We head to the 4th inning. Camden 3 and Sumter nothing. Headed to the top of the fourth inning. We have played baseball for 57 minutes. First pitch was thrown at 4:04 p.m. here in Cornell Field, Sparrow Stadium, home of the Francis Marion Pagers. Now, this stadium has been home to other teams. Florence Darlington Tech, for example, the Stingers. And back out on the mound for Camden P17 is Mr. Riley Ward. 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, 47 pitches, 26 strikes. The line score so far, 0-1-0 for Sumter, 3-4-0 for Camden. And now there's a conversation between the home plate umpire and the head coach of Sumter. So the answer to the question of who's unhappy, it seems like both sides seem to be less than pleased. But moving on. For Sumter, trying to get back into this ball game, they got the right part of the order to do that. It's the heart of the order, 3, 4, and 5. Clayton Goff, Bryce Coulter, Davis Campbell. Only 2 base runners so far for the P15s. The pitch from Riley Ward is swung on and a warm burner to the second baseman. He's got it, pats the glove twice, throws to first in time. 1 pitch, 1 out. How many times have I said that over the last 2 days? Here's the aforementioned Bryce Coulter, who grounded out back to the pitcher. Actually, it was up the first baseline. The pitcher, Riley Ward, picked it up, and Bryce literally dropped anchor. So Riley just turned around and threw it to first. Pitch from Riley Ward is a breaking ball that he just kind of guided, never got out on that front foot. You got to come over the front foot and turn it loose, and he just kind of guided it for ball 1. Pitch to Coulter. Check the swing. Doesn't matter. Pitch is called a strike. Now, that looked like a changeup because it got right to home plate and then just kind of took a sharp turn down. One ball and 1 strike. The pitch to Coulter. Sprays this one foul right side, but it will land over the first base bullpen way down at the end. Right by where it says 330. That's where the bullpens are. Behind a little fence, it's 3 feet high. So these fielders can reach over and make a play. These dugouts are huge. I mean huge. The pitch off the outside corner, 2 balls and 2 strikes. They're deep, they're long, 3 steps to get to the railing. It's got the kind of benches where the players can put their cleats on the seated area and kind of sit up top so everybody can see the game. So they can look over the top of everybody standing on the railing. Pitch swung on in a high fly ball. This one's a rainmaker into medium center field, but it'll end up being a can of corn out there for Carson Weathers. 2 up and 2 down for Davis Campbell. Davis, one of the strikeout victims of Riley Ward. Another nugget of information from the all-knowing, all-seeing, outstanding athletic director of One Florence Post 1, Mr. Mike Ritchie. I call him a friend. I'm not sure he would say the same for me, though. Pitch, going to square around a bunt. Bunts it right back, a 1-hopper to Riley Ward. He'll just underhand toss to first, and that will retire the side, and Sumter goes down quietly once again. Folks, that is 7 straight sat down by Riley Ward, and we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. The score remains Camden 3 and Sumter nothing. Tell you about the nugget of information after this short timeout on the We Are Fort Moore Broadcasting Network. It's the bottom of the fourth inning. Camden leads it 3-zip. Give you that information that the athletic director of Florence said. Florence Darlington Tech actually played at the old Cornell Field. That is Francis Marion's previous home field. But before that, they played at Legion Field, which, of course, is the home field of one Florence Post 1. That pitch is swung on and wrote right back to Campbell, who will just underhand toss to first. And again, I sound like a broken record, another first pitch ambush. And it's not just Camden and it's not just Sumter. We saw it tonight between Rock Hill and Florence. Nonetheless, another ground out. And if you've never been to Legion Field, home of Post 1, which I've never had the privilege of calling a game there, I'd like to do that one day. I'm not sure that Mike would allow that. Might have to do it. Might have to do a little recon there, kind of sneak into the ballpark, rent one of those cherry pickers, kind of pick myself up over the press box, kind of do it on the sly. The 1-0 swung on and a hard ground ball through the whole left side, base hit. Nicely done from Carson Weathers. Hit it hard and in a perfect spot. That'll be base hit number 6 on the day for Camden. Beg your pardon, base hit number 5. Anyway, drove past Legion Field, home of Florence Post 1. Nice. Nice. Man, home of Florence Post 1. Nice. Man, and the thing about it is, if these ballparks could talk, the stories they could tell, man, story after story after story, that'd be phenomenal. By the way, the wind has picked up. It is blowing straight out to right field, and it has played a part in this game. That'll bring up Macon Leopard. There's a throw over to first, and that'll chase Weathers back to the bag. Weathers only had about a 7-step lead. And the pitch is swung on and a line drive to Bimbo in center field. He will glide in, and he will make the catch. Folks, he had to go a long way, but those long strides from Jayshawn Bimbo, he made it look easy. Speed never slumps, does it? That line out is out number 2. That'll bring up the powerful Patrick Daniels, who hit a grand slam yesterday. That ball, I think, landed sometime around 2 a.m. It was a rocket. Banged off the grass and hit against one of those Leland cypresses. And he swings and hits a towering fly ball. Deep left field. The left fielder on the track now. He will slow and he'll make the catch. What a play. What a play by Davis Campbell. And that will retire the side. No runs a hit. No errors, 1 left on base. We head to the 5th inning. Camden 3. Sumter nothing. You're watching and listening to the 2023 South Carolina American Legion Baseball Championships on the We Are Football Broadcasting Network. Back in a moment. Thank you, Mike, for those kind words. You are a scholar and a gentleman. The guy you got to watch out for is that George Rigby guy. Keep a sharp eye on that rascal. I'll tell you that for sure. Back to business as we head to the 5th inning. Camden all over Sumter, but it's only 3-0. And what I mean by that is Camden has out-hit Sumter 5-1. They've had base runners all over the place. Sumter has just had the 1 base hit, only 2 base runners. There was a single and a walk back in the second. That's it for the P-15s. But it's only a 3-run game. It's been one way all day long. It's been domination by Camden. But when you're only down by 3, all it takes is, what's the old saying? A dink and a dunk and a long ball, and you're tied. And the comeback is on. Riley, 4 innings pitched. He's only thrown 54 pitches, 31 strikes. He's walked 1, struck out 3. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 in the order for the P15s. Hayden Lyons, Gavin Rivers, Carson Todd. No action in either bullpen. But that could change. But we're going to the top of the 5th. And like we talked about before the game started, both coaches needed their starters to go deep into this game. Riley Ward and Campbell have done just that. And just as I say that, a couple of Camden youngsters are going to walk down to the bullpen. It's Jay Bowling and Turner Goff. So Turner Goff is the catcher there. So Jay Bowling is going to go warm up for Camden. But Riley Ward back out on the bump. And here's Lyons to get it started for Sumter. The pitch is swung on and tomahawked in the deep left field. The left fielder still coming on, dives, and he can't make the catch. Hitting the bag at first, on his way to second is Lyons, and he will stride on in with a leadoff double. Outstanding try there, just parallel to the ground by Camden Watts. And as he went to the ground, I think he had it for just a moment, but as soon as that glove banged against the grass, the ball popped out. But heads up, base running by Hayden Lyons. He never stopped running. So here's Gavin Rivers, who walked back in the second but was stranded. And now Camden going to play in on the corners. Breaking ball comes inside and almost hits Mr. Rivers. Three 3-0 Camden is the score, but Sumter trying to mount a comeback here. The 1-0 pitch from Ward looked like a changeup of some kind, maybe a sinker, but it was off the corner. 2 balls and no strikes to Gavin Rivers. Gavin had a good day yesterday. Walked, hit by a pitch, scored twice with a base hit. And again, Riley Ward becomes really methodical with a runner on, and that fastball misses high and outside 3-0. He's only had to deal with this in the second. And it makes you wonder if he is starting to tire. Although it's more comfortable today, it is still hot down on that field. And again, both of these teams have had to go to their bullpen quite a bit over the past 7 days or so. A pitch, fastball right on the outside corner. Just your customary 3-0 pitch. If it's somewhere in the area code, going to get called a strike. Riley Ward gets a sign from Leppert. 3-1. That one misses low, ball 4. And now the tying run will walk to the plate in the form of Carson Todd. Talked to the broadcasters from Sumter yesterday and today, and I will tell you this. They basically pulled no punches. They said the offense will go MIA for long stretches of time, then all of a sudden it's like a volcano. It just goes. And next thing you know, it's hit here, hit there, run here, run there. Thank you, George, for that. My buddy Scott Bailey checking in with us. His son is a really good baseball player. Just graduated from Lancaster, home of the Bruins. Had a great summer with Jimmy Jackson's Lancaster Post 31. Very versatile athlete. So first and second, nobody out. So Carson Todd grounded out to third to end the second. Corner infielder is going to play on the grass. He's going to square around the bunt, pops it foul, and it lands on top of the batting circle, or the on-deck circle, I should say, of Camden. And what it looked like to me as he had the bat in the zone, as soon as the ball got to the plate, he took that left hand that's holding the bat and kind of dropped it just a little bit. You can't do that. You got to keep that plane. And then what you want to do is you want to keep your right hand in this situation. You want to keep it kind of loose. You want the ball to deaden. If the bat's really stiff, it's going to come off the bat with more velocity, and that fastball off the outside corner, 1-1. Sounds like such a small, minute thing, but can mean a big difference. If you hold that bat like you're about to choke somebody's neck, that bat's really stiff. That ball's going to hit it, and it's going to just carry them off of it. But if you hold it kind of like, I've heard a coach say, kind of like holding a bird. You don't want it to fly away, but you don't want to kill it. Hold the bat like that and just use the other hand as a guide. Get your head out there, get up in the box, front of it, lay it down. Pitch, fastball, inside corner, called a strike. And Mr. Watts, or Mr. Todd, I should say, did not like that call whatsoever. It's 1-2. First and second, nobody out. Camden up 3-0, but that lead is in jeopardy. Pitch from Ward. Tried to hit the outside corner, but just off the outside corner, and it's 2-2. That got some jeers from the Sumter faithful. From my vantage point, was off the corner. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to designated hitter Carson Todd here in the top of the 5th. Pitch from Riley Ward, swung on and fouled back, hits the top of the netting. That metal wire, the suspension wire, it kissed right off of it. You don't see that very often. The ball almost literally came to a dead stop and just kind of jumped up in the air a little bit and then fell back to the turf. It'll stay 2 balls and 2 strikes to Carson Todd. Winner of this game will move on to the primetime game tonight. They'll take on Rock Hill Post 34. Another 2-2 from Ward. Here it comes. Inside corner, too far inside, and that'll load it up at 3-2. And now the wheels will be turning all the way around. Are we having fun yet? To me, this is what makes baseball the greatest sport in the world right here. Both teams, this is great. Payoff pitch from Ward. Here it comes. Fastball high and outside, ball 4. And the bases are loaded with nobody out. And I'm waiting for the head coach of Camden to poke his head out of the dugout. Stephen Carmen, the head coach of Camden, he's at the top step, and he's on to the warning track, and here he comes. He is not a fan of his pitching staff walking people. There were a couple pitchers yesterday that walked a couple of guys, and he went and got them. He just said, nope, we're done here. One particular case, the kid walked 2 batters and only never recorded an out, and he went out there and took him down. So there you go. So that will be the day for Riley Ward, but you cannot close the book on him. All 3 base runners are his responsibility. So 4+ innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, 57 pitches, 32 strikes, but a double and then back-to-back walks, bases loaded, and nobody out. The new pitcher for Camden, I believe, is number 9, Jay Bowling, out of Lugoff Elgin. Here's another tall drink of water for you, folks. 6'5", 210 pounds. What an opposing figure out there on the bump. Holy smokes. Dude's a skyscraper, but he's a sidewinder. So you want to talk about a totally different release point here? Camden trying to make it to tonight So is Sumter. Now, the rest of the weekend, here's how it will work out with the format, the way the brackets are, now that it's been basically trimmed down to these three teams. So, actually four. So Sumter and Camden going to battle it out. The loser, unfortunately, their season is over. The winner will take on Rock Hill tonight. Now, the winner of that game tonight will have to battle Florence Post 1 tomorrow afternoon at 1. Now, Florence has the day off tonight, so they can sit back, relax. But I have a feeling that one Derek Urquhart will be in this ballpark somewhere tonight. Now, he might be incognito. He might be all Bobby Valentine with the sunglasses and the ball cap on, trying to be all sneaky with the fake mustache and all that. But it's in his DNA. He'll be scouting tonight. I can almost guarantee you that, some way, shape, matter, or form. But he's going to be looking closely at whoever his opponent's going to be. Now, if one of these teams beats Florence in game 1 tomorrow at 1 o'clock, they will turn around and play a winner-take-all at 4. So there's definitely going to be a game tomorrow at 1. There could be a game at 4, but the All-Star game is tomorrow night at 7. And that's going to be a lot of fun. The coaching staff of Charleston against the coaching staff from Fort Mill. Some great coaches on both those staffs. And, of course, I'm part of Fort Mill Post 43, so you can kind of understand where my loyalties lie, but I'm a big fan of what that Charleston coaching staff can do. They can coach them up with the best of them. So here we go. Bases loaded, bowling the new twirler for Camden. And the first pitch to Wyatt Meldrum is swung on in a chopper to the third baseman. Going to come home for 1. Catcher steps on home plate. That's Leopard. That'll go in the book as a fielder's choice. 6-2 on the putout. Bases loaded. 1 out now. Back to the top of the order, and Dubose Rimbert. Dubose 0 for 2 today. Lined out to right field in the first. Grounded out to second in the third. Rivers is at third. Carson Todd at second. Wyatt Meldrum at first. Corner infielders in. Middle infielders are looking for 2. The pitch swung on and whistled off the end of the bat. Foul, first base side. Turning 2 on Dubose Rimbert, though, easier said than done. Dubose can throw up some chalk. But if he hits a hard ground ball right at these middle infielders, these 2 youngsters can turn it and pivot in a hurry. Does not take long for Kobe Evans and Zane Cato to just grip and rip and turn 2. And now Bowling is going to take a little walk around the back of the mound. The 0-1 pitch to Rimbert. Outside corner below the knees for ball 1. And because of the action out of the hand of Bowling, I'm wondering if that's just his fastball. Because of the way his release point is. The pitch swung on and fouled back. There's the slider. And it's 1-2. So not only is he 6'5" with this long wingspan, but it's all arms and legs coming at you. And by the time you pick up the baseball, it's a day late and a dollar short until you can get a good timing on it. The pitch swung on and trickles foul third base side. It'll stay a ball and 2 strikes to Dubose Rimbert. We're in the top of the 5th. Camden leads 3-0, but the bases are loaded and 1 out. And the P-15s are 1 swing of the old bat away from putting run number 1 or 2, and heck, maybe even tying the game. Heck, Dubose Rimbert might catch 1 and give Sumter the lead. Pitch from Bowling. This one is fisted foul as Dubose Rimbert literally hits his keister. He was literally trying to just reach over and foul that pitch off, just get a piece of it. And he did a good job of staying alive. He must be a Bee Gees fan. Another pitch due here. Dubose Rimbert. Wow, what a take that is. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Woo. How he laid off of that one, I do not know. That's a great take. Rimbert being very patient here. The 2-2. Swung on and missed. Threw him something off speed, and Rimbert was out in front. First strikeout for Mr. Bowling. Fourth strikeout of the day for Camden pitching, but that's the first strikeout swinging. So now the bases remain loaded, but now 2 down for the very dangerous Jay-Sean Bimbo. And that pitch way outside, almost like a pitch out, but I don't think that's necessarily what that was, not with the bases loaded. Mr. Bimbo, quite a stat line. It's incredibly impressive. Ballpark. One ball and one strike to Jay-Sean Bimbo. Can Sumter crack the scoreboard, or will Camden shut the door? Bowling brings it off the outside corner. 2 balls and a strike. And Bowling, you can tell, is trying to be really careful with Jay-Sean, and rightfully so. Jay-Sean batting over 400, has an OPS of 1.126. I'd pitch around him too. The pitch from Bowling, that one off the outside corner. It should be 3-1. But the umpire flashed 1-2 before the pitch. I think it's 3-1, I believe. Unless I missed something, which is very possible. If you've met me, that's more than likely. The pitch swung on and popped up a mile high, shallow left center field, the Bermuda Triangle, calling off everybody and making the catch for out number 3 is Carson Weathers, and Camden gets out of the soup. Bases loaded and nobody out, and Sumter can't crack the scoreboard. No runs, a hit, no errors, and the bases left loaded. That hurts if you're Sumter. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Score remains Camden 3 and Sumter nothing. Back in a moment on the We Are Fort Moore Broadcasting Network. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to beautiful Cornell Field, Sparrow Stadium, Florence, South Carolina. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to beautiful Cornell Field, Sparrow Stadium, Florence, South Carolina. And over the last couple of days, staying with my friends' family, I've learned a lot about this beautiful city, a lot of history, and just soaking it all in. A lot of things I did not know. Some things I knew, but that, by and large, did not know. A lot of things to learn in this town that I was not aware of. So we head to the bottom of the 5th, and Campbell's still on the mound for Sumter. And the first batter here is Luke Duncan, and he will foul off the first pitch he sees. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for Sumter. 3-5-0 for Camden. Pitch from Campbell, swung on and missed. Quickly 0-2 to Luke Duncan. He struck out to end the second. Appreciate everybody tuning in today, wherever you may be across the fruited plains. Thank you for your support of these wonderful players and coaches. Takes a lot of hard work to get to this point. Pitch, call strike 3, got him. I think Luke Duncan knew it. He tried to check his swing, but the pitch was too good. And that is another strikeout for Campbell. That is strikeout number 3. That'll take us back to the top of the order. Kobe Evans, who's 0 for 2. Been retired twice by left fielder Davis Campbell. Pitch to him. Front door breaking ball, but missed just off the inside corner. Kobe Evans, another Lugoff Elgin Demon. The 1-0 swung on and a ground ball right back at the box into center field for a base hit. Evans' first base knockout of the day. That'll be base hit number 6 of the day for Camden. Nicely done by Evans. So 1-out base runner for post 17, and that'll bring up the 2-hole hitter, Camden Watts. Flew out to first in the first inning, flew out to center in the first inning. I'll get it right in a second. Ripped a triple over the right fielder's head and scored in the third. Throw over to first. That'll chase Evans back to the pillow. Camden looking for insurance. Sumter trying to keep post 17 exactly where they're at. It's 3-0 Camden. Here in the bottom of the 5th, another throw over to first. Now you're wondering if Campbell's trying to think about what should he throw Camden Watts here. Action beginning to stir again in the Camden bullpen. Going to square around a bunt. Bunts it foul, third base side. Trying desperately to see who the youngster is down there in the post 17 bullpen. Another throw over to first. More and more people piling in here to beautiful Sparrow Stadium. Man, even with binoculars, it's hard to see. Runner takes off for second, and a good job of going on that pitch. I think Camden knew the pitch sequence was there because it was a breaking ball low and away. That base is stolen easily by Kobe Evans.
Now the bunt could be in order because you can push that guy to third with 2 outs. I'm not in favor.
I think the young man in the Camden bullpen is ready to go. He'll walk back here. Maybe that'll give me a chance to read his number.
Yeah, the thing the bunt here might do on defense, you know the situation, a little pressure on the defense.
It looks like it's number 6, John Rawlings, out of Blythewood. 1 ball and 1 strike to Camden Watts. Evans at second, 1 down. Pitch from Campbell. Swung on and a worm burner to the shortstop, and it goes right through the wickets of Coulter into left field. And boogieing on into second base, but time was called. Time was called. They're going to send the runner back to first. That ball took a funny hop and just ate up Bryce Coulter. And I think they're going to say, actually, Coulter. So now foul ball. Or are they? No, they're not. Actually, they're going to call that a fielder's choice. So now a runner at first for Camden, but 2 down. Here's the pitch from Campbell. Swung on and missed. I totally missed that sequence, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. They're going to call that a fielder's choice. They're going to say Evans is out advancing to third. So the only thing I can come up with in that situation is that the ball hit the base runner. That could be the situation. The pitch from Campbell off the inside corner and low. Ball and a strike. That has to be the answer because nothing else really makes sense. Not to me anyway. It didn't look like it hit him, but it did take a funny bounce. And Coulter was not in a hurry to get to that ball. So if that was still a live ball, and it was called a dead ball immediately, so that has to be the call. And that would make sense on a fielder's choice. Yeah, they're going to call that a 6 unassisted. So runner at first and 2 down. The 1-1 outside corner at the knees called a strike to Jake Morris, who's 0 for 1 but has a sac fly. 3-0 is the lead for Camden here in the bottom of inning number 5. Another throw to first. They got him picked off. They're going to get him in a pickle. Now they're going to throw it. Here's Coulter going to give it back to Campbell. Campbell's going to tag him. He's outside the baseline anyway, and he will be caught stealing, and that will retire the side. No runs, a hit, no errors, but in the end, nobody left on base. We head to the 6th inning. As Yogi Berra once said, it's getting late early. Camden 3 and Sumter 0. Back in a moment on the We Are Fort Moore Broadcasting Network. Headed to the 6th inning, ladies and gentlemen. 3-0. Camden with the lead over the P-15s of Sumter. Now, Sumter did load the bases last inning, not able to score. But can they keep that little bit of momentum going here and try to get back into this game? Only 6 outs to play with. Jay Bowling back out on the bump for Camden. He came in out of the bullpen to relieve Riley Ward, who did a great job for Camden in his start today. Again, the winner of this game will take on Rock Hill, and Rock Hill has walked in the building. Today they are wearing the baby blues, that light blue top, light blue pants with the navy blue hat, the Rock Hill logo on the front in white. Back to business here. And the leadoff man here for Sumter looks at the pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. It's Clayton Goff, Bryce Coulter, Davis Campbell. And I did seek clarification. They said the ball did hit the foot of the base runner, which explains why Bryce Coulter just kind of stopped what he was doing. The 0-1 swung on and roped into deep left field, but it'll be a line drive out as Camden Watts had to stare into the sun. You could see his sunglasses just beaming in the sun out there. So 1 down for Bryce Coulter, who's 0 for 2, a ground out and a fly out. 0-2-0 for Sumter, 3-6-0 for Camden. Pitch from Bowling, outside corner at the knees to Mr. Coulter.
It's the 4 best teams in the state left in the tournament right now. And Camden's a good team. They bring this guy in the 6th inning. Sometimes at this point in the tournament,
Jay Bowling, another one that just pitches exclusively out of the stretch. Pitch swung on and popped up, but deep right field. The wind's got a hold of it, but now the right fielder for Camden will slow down, and Luke Duncan will squeeze it for out number 2. That'll take us to the 5-hole hitter. That's left fielder Davis Campbell, but we're actually going to have a pinch hitter. No, we're not. I beg your pardon. It is Davis Campbell. Beg your pardon. Got a little ahead of myself. Campbell's 0 for 2 with a strikeout, and that pitch is swung on and a worm burner right to the second baseman. He'll throw to first, and ABC 1-2-3 goes Sumter very quietly, I might add. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Camden 3, Sumter nothing. You're watching and listening to the 2023 South Carolina American Legion Senior Baseball Championships from Sparrow Stadium in Florence, South Carolina, here on the We Are Fort Mill Broadcasting Network. Back out to the mound for the P-15s goes the starter for Sumter, Jackson Campbell, who's pitched well. He finds himself down 3-0, but really you look at his stat line, 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 runs. They are earned. Hasn't walked a soul, 3 strikeouts. 72 pitches and 48 of them strikes in 5 complete innings. That's strong, but yet finds himself down 3-0. Due up here for Camden. It's going to be 3, 4, and 5, at least in my book anyway. Yeah, that is the deal. Jake Morris, Zane Cato, John Rawlings for the fellas in gold. And that pitch looked like an off-speed pitch off the outside corner. Ball 1 to Jake Morris. He was at the dish when Kobe Evans was gunned down trying to steal. And now time is called before Campbell goes into the old rocking chair. And the home plate umpire very politely asked Jake Morris to please step back into the box, sir. The 1-0 swung on and fouled off. Oh, that took a bite. Boy, howdy did it take a bite out of Gavin Rivers. He felt that one. And now the coach for Sumter going to come out, pick up the baseball, but I think he's doing that also to check on his catcher, give catcher a moment to catch his breath. The umpire also doing that as well. The relationship between the home plate umpire and the catcher, I think sometimes is a little underrated. They are kindred spirits in a way. That pitch low and outside 2-1. I know that sounds weird, but look at the relationship. When one gets hit by a pitch, watch how the catcher reacts and watch how the umpire acts when the catcher takes one. The 2-1, that one's low and outside. 3 balls and a strike to the leadoff man here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Camden trying to pad that lead. Sumter cannot afford to give up any more runs. The P-15s down to their final 3 outs. Pitch from Campbell. That one's right down Tom Hall Street. Morris had already flipped the bat away, but it's called a strike. And that will make it 3 balls and 2 strikes. In the art of fairness, that fastball did look like it was a little bit above the belt, but it was right down the heart of the plate. 3-2. This one is sprayed foul left side. Heads up to a couple walking down the sidewalk by the main entrance to this beautiful ballpark. palmettos lining it, concrete with the bricks. Love it. The pitch. Swung on and missed. Got him. Took a little something off of it. Had Morris out in front. And that, my friends, is strikeout number 4 for Campbell. 1 up and 1 down for Zane Cato. Zane has singled, scored back in the 2nd inning. He was robbed of a base hit back in the 3rd on a fantastic play deep in the hole by Bryce Coulter. And that first pitch is swung on and whistled foul. Third base side quickly 0-1 to Zane Cato. Not your typical cleanup hitter, but very productive. That pitch high and outside. Normally your cleanup hitter is a guy with power, with all kinds of slugging numbers. Zane Cato, just a huge batting average with a lot of total bases under his belt. That pitch is swung on and roped through the whole left field for a base hit. And that's what Zane Cato can do over and over and over again. 2nd base hit of the day. 3rd time he's hit the ball hard. So that's 4 base hits for Zane Cato in 2 days. They'll bring up John Rawlings, the 3rd baseman for Camden. Sack bunt in the 2nd, grounded out to the pitcher in the 4th. That's a back foot breaking ball. That's a little too far inside. I tell you what, I got to get me one of these fans that operates off the lithium battery. I'm looking down here. It looks like you can put them on the wall. You can do all kinds of stuff. Well, might have to invest in one of those, as they say. And Campbell just going to flip the ball to first. I don't think Camden's going to be quite as aggressive here. That pitch clips the inside corner for a strike, 1-1. You got a 3-run lead. You've got a runner at first with 1 out, even though he's a really good base stealer. Do you roll that kind of dice? Another throw over to first, and again, back to the bag easily is Cato. Pitch from Campbell, swung on a slow roller through the hole, left side base hit. Cato's ball was a scalded dog. That one, just a seeing eye single, not hit hard at all, but in a perfect spot. Back-to-back base hits for Camden. That's base hit number 8 on the day for post 17. So 1st and 2nd and only 1 out for Carson Weathers. Appreciate everybody tuning in this afternoon, wherever you may be across the fruited plains. The 2023 South Carolina American Legion Senior Baseball Championships. The juniors will get it going next week, just down the road a piece in Conway, and now a balk is called. No, time is called. The home plate umpire says, no, he called time. So the field umpire called a balk because time is called. The home plate umpire says, no, he called time. So the field umpire called a balk because he did not realize the home plate umpire had called time, and the home plate umpire steps out in the middle of the diamond and tells everybody he got it. And now the coach for Camden wants an explanation, and he's going to tell him that the home plate umpire is going to tell the coach, hey, I called timeout. And he did. You could see the umpire kind of move his hand. He held up his right hand really quickly to say timeout. Coach Carmen just looking for clarification there. No harm, no foul.
All right, so runners at first and second, 1 out in the inning. No count on this hitter yet. Hoping we get the pitch delivered soon. Jackson Campbell looks into Gavin Rivers for his sign. Now comes set. Not much of a lead in second base.
There's the pitch to Rawlings, front door, breaking ball. Ooh, boy. Looked like it clipped the front corner, but might have been a little bit low. And the umpires wearing their royal blue shirts down to my right are now whispering sweet nothings to the gentleman behind the plate. The 1-0. Same pitch, same spot, but this one's called a strike. 1-1 the count to John Rawlings. or Carson Weathers, I beg your pardon. Got to get me a Coke or something during the intermission. Need a little pick me up. That pitch, another breaking ball. They tripled up on it. The same pitch. That one clips the zone, and it's 1-2 to Weathers, who's 2 for 2 today with an RBI and a run scored and a stolen base. That's really good production out of the 6-hole. Here comes the pitch from Campbell. Swung on and tomahawked in the deep left center field. This has got trouble written all over it. It's going to split the outfielders and roll all the way to the wall. Coming around to score is Cato. Getting the late stop sign will be Rawlings. It'll be an RBI double for Carson Weathers. And Camden gets a little bit of insurance. It's 4-0. And now the hole for the P15's got a little bit deeper. That pitch was left up over the plate, and Mr. Weathers did not miss it. Waiting to see if Coach pops out of the Sumter dugout, but I don't see any action there. So Sumter's going to go 0 defense. All 4 infielders on the lip of the grass. Rawlings is at third. Weathers is at second. The batter is Macon Leopard. He is the catcher, but he's got wheels. The pitch swung on and fouled straight back. Pitch biting down and away, and you could see he was trying to kind of take a little shot to left field. Bimbo in center field kind of drifted a little bit to right center about 6 steps. So left center field is wide open. The pitch just off the outside corner. I want to say hello to Anna Hughes. Thank you so much, ma'am, for those kind comments. Looking for Camden to get back to the World Series. That entire town is hoping to do that one more time. That pitch is swung on and popped up a mile high, left side, heads up over there. Camden, the Southeast Regional champions last year. Camden trying to add a state championship to that long list of accolades at post 17. The 1-2 here from Campbell. Here it comes. Fastball misses high. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Macon Leopard, who's 1 for 2 today. A single in the second. And that drove in a run. Hit a rocket shot to Bimbo back in the 4th, but Jay Sean ran it down with relative ease. The 2-2. This one is hacked at, and that one's fouled as well. Patrick Daniels tried to catch it off the ricochet, but he has a little wry smile as the Camden dugout gives him a hard time. Oh, boys will be boys, won't they? It'll stay 2-2. A ball hit right at an infielder. They're going to come home with it. Breaking ball. That one stayed high as Campbell will go to the mouth a little bit. And we learned earlier in the week, you can do that. But 2 things. You have to wipe it off before you touch the baseball. And we saw a youngster go to his mouth with his foot on the rubber. And that's also a no-no. Big payoff pitch due here to Leopard. Here it comes. Swung on and a worm burner right to the shortstop, Coulter. He'll look the runner back to third, and now the runner for second got a little vivacious and being tagged out as Weathers. And now the throw to second, double play. It'll go as a 6-4 twin killing, and Camden runs itself out of a rally. A very bizarre turn of events there. The ball hit right to Coulter, who turned around and realized that Weathers was standing right behind him, running to third. But the runner at third went back to the bag. So Coulter will tag out Weathers. That'll go 6 unassisted, but the double play will go 6-4, and that'll retire the side. Let that one sit in your scorebook for a little while as we go to the 7th inning. Say again? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So you have 9 as well for. Yep, I do. Yep. Mr. Reef Snyder wanted to seek clarification there. Sorry, folks. Triple duty up here in the press box. So, in the end, Camden did score a run. They did it on the back of 3 base hits. There were no errors. And in the end, 1 left on base. Last chance saloon for the P-15s from Sumter. We head to the 7th inning. The score is Camden 4 and Sumter nothing. Back in a moment on the We Are Fort Moore Broadcasting Network. Headed to the top of the 7th inning here in the first game of the day on a Saturday afternoon. Camden 4, Sumter nothing. Mr. Bowling still on the bump for Camden. He came in relief of the starter today for post 17, Riley Ward, who did a fantastic job. Mr. Bowling has come in. Sumter had the bases loaded with nobody out, didn't score, and that particular sequence looms large now. So for Sumter, if they're going to make a rally, going to have to do it with the bottom of the order. Going to be 6, 7, and 8 in the order. Hayden Lyons, Gavin Rivers, Carson Todd. Here's Hayden Lyons, 2 for 2 today, a single and a double. Pitch from Bowling. Here it comes. Outside corner, but a little bit low as it pops out of the mitt of Leopard. On a beautiful, beautiful late July day here in Florence, South Carolina. The 1-0, right down Tom Hall Street, right at the bottom of the zone for a strike. When I first got into broadcasting, the Wall of Famer Steven Stone told me I needed to come up with my own one-liner for strike calls, and that was the first thing that popped in my head. That was 7 years ago. That pitch off the outside corner. Two balls and a strike to the leadoff man here in the 7th. Camden trying to book a trip to the 7 o'clock game. Sumter trying to make a comeback. That pitch is swung on and fouled off left side. Way out in front was Mr. Lyons. Carmen will pick that baseball up. He'll just walk it back to the dugout. He'll probably put that bad boy back in play. Those things are $10 a piece, y'all. Got an eye of those baseballs. They look really nice. That pitch swung on, going to drop right in front of his. Heads up. Bang. Nobody put out any kind of effort at all. We need a little bit more athletic ability by the folks right in front of us here. Show a little bit of length there, a little bit of pop. Nobody did a thing. Everybody just kind of sat there and moved out of the way. But they'll give it to a little youngster. That's so cool. Gave it to a little girl down there. That's so cool. That's baseball. That pitch, call strike 3, got him. What a nasty pitch from Bowling. That'll be Jay's, I think that's his second strikeout of the day. It is. So 1 up and 1 down for Gavin Rivers, who has walked twice. And it's an interesting scoreline. Sumter has drawn 3 free passes today from Camden pitching, 2 for Rivers and 1 from Carson Todd, who's on deck. And that pitch is something off speed and on the outside corner for a strike. And what's strange about it is all the production for Sumter has come from the 6, 7, and 8 hole hitters. That pitch, just a little bit low. 1-1 is the count. You look at the 1 through 5 hitters for Sumter, and it's over. Literally none of them have reached base. Very bizarre. Normally it's completely inverted. The pitch, something off speed, but off the corner. 2 balls and a strike. No action in the Camden bullpen. Scoreboard has 3-0. It's actually 2-1. The first pitch was called a strike. Pitch from Bowling. Off-speed pitch. Outside corner at the knees. Could have been a changeup. I'll make it 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody on, 1 out. Camden up by 4. Pitch from Bowling. Swung on a tapper to the third baseman. A 2-hopper. He'll sling it across the diamond perfectly. And the last hope for the P15s is Carson Todd. Carson has grounded out and walked. And Camden is 1 precious out away from booking their ticket to the 7 o'clock game tonight against Rock Hill. But getting that 21st out can be a little hairy. And now some chirping from the Sumter dugout to the umpire at first base. Both dugouts have had a talking to from the umpires today. This time is called. Carson, I think, stepped out a little bit. Bowling is going to step off the rubber. I think he wants to get on the same page with his catcher. So Macon's ready to go there. Jay will toe the rubber. Here we go. Pitch to Todd. There's the changeup on the outside corner. Called a strike. It's 0-1. That pitch gets right to home plate and just takes a nosedive. It's not a curveball, though, because his curveball is like a slurve. It's like a slider. That pitch swung on and missed. And now Sumter down to its final strike. Bowling to the belt, the 0-2. Inside corner, call strike 3, got him, ball game. Carson Todd gets rung up, and that will end the game. The final score, Camden 4 and Sumter nothing. Your final line score, Camden 4 runs on 9 hits, no errors for post 17. For the P15s of Sumter, no runs, 2 hits, no errors. The season will come to an end for Sumter. A heck of a season, though, for the P15s. You got to tip your cap to them. They had to fight like all get out to get to this spot, and they did. But they came up a little bit short today to Camden, and Camden has flexed their muscles once again as they win this one 4-0. So we will take a timeout, I believe. Yes, it is 6:05. The next game will start at 7 o'clock, and it'll be Camden versus Rock Hill, the defending state champion against the defending Southeast Regional champion. That sounds like a whole lot of fun. How about we do it together? Thank you all so much for tuning in, wherever you may be across the fruited plains, whether this is your first broadcast or however many you listen to. Really appreciate all your support of these wonderful players and coaches. They are the stars of the show, and they have put on quite a show so far here at Sparrow Stadium in Florence, South Carolina. So Camden will play Rock Hill in about an hour, but a tip of the cap and a round of applause for Sumter. Heck of a season for that group. They'll regroup. They'll be for Sumter. Heck of a season for that group. They'll regroup. They'll be back next year. P15s are always around with a deep playoff run. They will be back. But post 17, we'll probably change jerseys and give it a go against Rock Hill here in about an hour. And until then, on behalf of Mr. Legree Oswald and Michael Reeve-Snyder, I'm John Turner. We will see you crazy kids in about an hour. And until then, so long, everybody.